Hey everyone, Matt ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel. Welcome back. This is Mattitude, the ESC United live stream where we talk about the best thing that has ever existed in the world, Eurovision. And I'm sorry I wasn't there yesterday. You can blame Portugal for that, for going really late with their national final. But we had a very, 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 very busy day. And I am glad that we're here finally get together to talk about Super Saturday, the first true Super Saturday of the 21 season, where we had six shows to watch. And I don't know how many you were able to watch, but I was busy flipping back and forth. And those who have not seen any of it, welcome as well, because we can talk this through, because a lot has happened. And maybe it's good that we all had a little bit of time to sit back, relax, and marinate over everything that has happened. And so we'll leave for that. So thank you everyone for joining me. And in the chat, there's already a good amount of commotion going on. And we're going to talk about the 6 shows today. And then I would love to hear from you as well, what's going on. So I don't think we should waste any more time and dive right into it, shall we? And let's move on to the... So we had... Actually, let me backtrack. Let me take a step back and talk about what happened yesterday. As pointed out, 6 shows took place across Europe to select or advance some of the songs that are currently being chosen for Eurovision 2021 in Rotterdam. 3 countries yesterday decided on the act and song. And, well, Spain already had an act. And then 3 other countries were having a semi-show where some songs were eliminated and others moved on. And I think we should first focus on the songs that have been chosen, because everyone is talking about it. So let's go for this one by one. And the first show that took place yesterday was Norway. So there's a bug here. Go away, bug. So Norway had Melody Grand Prix, and Melody Grand Prix has been going on for quite some time. They had 5 semifinals and then a wildcard show, and now finally yesterday they had their big grand final. From each semi, 5 semis, they had 1 qualifier and then 1 wildcard qualifier. So we had 6 songs coming from the actual semis shows, and then 6 songs were already pre-qualified by there's a bug here that I've got to push down here from the table. Get down. Okay. Very professional. And then 6 songs were already pre-qualified. 6 songs were already pre-qualified in the grand final, and we had a total lineup of 12 songs. This year, in the national final in Norway, we only had the televote. There were no juries deciding the winner, so the only people that mattered basically were the Norwegian folks, although I think some internationals tried to push their votes in there as well, which is fine. But, so... And then the setup was all 12 songs performed in Norway. Then the people of Norway voted for their favorites, of course. And then the top 4 of the 12 would move on to the next round. And then out of those 4, the top 2 would move on to the super final, if you will. So they had 3 rounds of voting. So in addition to all the other shows that they had previously. So let's go through this here real quick and see what happened. So the 12 acts performed, and ultimately 4 of them qualified from the first round. And I'm going to bring those up here right now. So the first act that actually qualified, and that came to some people's surprise, was Blas Cantó, Let Loose, featuring Hazel. I should give her some credit as well. So this act won the first semifinal of MGP, were actually considered a surprise qualifier, and they made it. I think a lot of people were sleeping on Let Loose. It was quite popular in Norway, as you can see, making it to the second round in the finals. Survived many, many votes. And another interesting qualifier to the second round of voting in the finals was Jorn. And Jorn was a surprise to some because initially he was eliminated in the first semi when Blas actually kicked him out in the first duel. But never ever give up, because this gentleman came back for the second chance round, I almost called it the wild card show, and won. So he still made it to the grand final, and guess what? Made it even to the second round of voting. So Blas and Jorn, who battled or met each other early on in the show, were both insanely popular and both moved on to the top 4 overall. That is a very, very important thing that we should remember, that the dual system may be a little odd, because this is what could cause the outcome. Then they were, of course, then joined in the lineup by Kaino, who also made it to the final 4. Now, Kaino did not have to battle their way through the semis. They were one of the 4 direct qualifiers chosen by an internal jury with their song, almost said Spirit in the Sky, but it's Monument. And then the 4th act was Tix. Tix went through as well. Tix has become fairly known in Norway as of late. He translated his song for the finals to Fallen Angel. Now, he was also a direct pre-qualifier, so he didn't have to worry about semis, but all direct qualifiers and finalists, they also were able to perform in one of the semis as basically the Innaval act. So those 4 songs faced each other, and at that point, the televoters had a say again. So the televoters voted again, and we don't have the exact results, but then out of those 2, Kaino with Monument and Tix with Fallen Angel moved on to the grand final, if you will, the super final. Blas and Jorn then being eliminated, and it came down to that. And then everyone voted again in Norway, and then the votes are being broken out by region, like north, south, east, west, or whatever. And they're all provided the votes, and in the end, to confirm, we have a winner, and the winner was Tix, Fallen Angel. The song will go to Rotterdam, representing Norway at the Eurovision Song Contest 2021. He won by a healthy margin, actually, over 100,000 votes, I think, in the lead. 4 out of the 5 regions supported him over Kaino. So ultimately, it was a fairly clear win for him. So this is the actual situation, but there's a big but going on here. Actually, not a but. The fans were very unhappy. And by fans, I'm not talking about the people in the country of Norway, but in the country of everywhere else. The ESC community was heavily in favor of Kaino and Monument. So there was a lot of unhappy feelings. This was already a foregone conclusion to a lot of people that Kaino would come back to Eurovision. So Kaino, those who don't know, already represented Norway in 2019 with Spirits in the Sky, and they won the televote. They won the televote with Spirits in the Sky. Didn't do well with the juries, though, so were dragged down significantly and finishing in a 6th place overall. So they came back with another song saying, hey, we think we came up with something that would actually even appeal a lot to the juries. And that is Monument, highly popular with the fans here. So this is what all went down. Anyone who was online after everything that happened knows what I'm talking about. Whether you were on Twitter, whether you were on Facebook, whether you were on our forum on ESC United, people were unhappy. There was a lot of anger saying that Kaino would have won the contest, and now Norway's not even going to qualify. Now, ultimately, the decision to send a song lies within the country, right? If the voters, they clearly favored Tix. And that is how it went down. And I will answer a few questions in the chat, but make sure to post them at ESC United. So make sure that they are directed at me. I would love to hear from you and your thoughts as well on Kaino's loss, if you will, or 2nd place, and then ultimately Tix's win. So Tix, big name actually as of right now in Norway, and you can make the case that his status in Norway gave him the victory. And that is, I think, not necessarily an unfair thing to say, right? And I don't know what else to say in terms of like whether or not he deserves to win or not, because he deserves to win since he got the most votes. But people are saying kind of would have been the better choice, getting a better result at Eurovision. And you can make a case for, though we'll never know, right? There's no way for us to ever know how Kaino would have done at Eurovision with this song. It is not the same song as Spirits in the Sky, so you cannot just draw parallels there. Because, we've had songs that did really well in the past, or acts have done really well, and then when they return, they couldn't quite replicate that particular success. So we just don't know. However, there was a good amount of vitriol thrown at Tix. Not just the fact that Kaino lost, but attacking the singer Tix. And that itself was not cool. I was actually quite vocal about that on our forum and on Twitter, talking about this is my least favorite part. I understand people are upset. People are emotional and they're invested. They're invested in their favorite song. But going after that at a personal level, that's just not cool, right? I mean, come on. We don't do that. And I compared it to the Axel 2020 effect yesterday, in that Axel from Finland last year got a lot of hate on social media because he beat out the clear fan favorite Erika Wigman with Cicciolina, and it kind of affected him a little. And I'm hoping going to be the case was in the national final was just not working out for them, because there was just, that big other player that they just could not get past. They are still immensely popular. So that is something we need to remember as well. But I think they should have waited a little longer, and I hope that they're not going to give up, because you cannot just go into a contest like that and think that you can win it all. And so to go back to my original point, there was a lot of anger, and the blaming game has started. In Norway, there were people saying, well, it was rigged because I could not vote for Kaino. So the broadcaster at least released an official statement in regards to the issue, saying we received a record number of votes throughout the broadcast yesterday and a far greater commitment than last year. But we are naturally not happy when there are audience members who experience problems and understand that is experienced as frustrating. The scope of the issue has been very small compared to the total numbers of users who voted yesterday, and has not affected any of the results in the 3 rounds of voting. So there has been some minor hiccups here and there, which was not just with one line or anything, that it was just focused on Kaino or Tix or any of the other acts. It was just some minor technical difficulties that did not affect the outcome overall. So that is something else to need to take into consideration. Booksy saying Monument is a good song, but in my opinion, it would barely reach top 10. I hope there will Fallen Angel change song back to the Norwegian, or at least 50-50. Tix can be a dark horse in my opinion. So let's travel back in time. Those who watch my live streams on a more frequent basis and always asked about Norway in the previous weeks, I said, don't put money down on Kaino just yet. I don't think they have it in the bag. Are they still the favorites to win? Probably. But I said, I don't think they are guaranteed. They're not a shoe-in for victory. So ultimately, that turned out to be true. We are different than the Eurovision bubble. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, we are the Eurovision bubble, and our opinions don't necessarily always are in line with what the average viewer, and certainly not a specific country, feels. And that is something we always need to take into consideration. And it happens. Sometimes having a big name alone can feel unfair because you win, and you can make an argument there are better songs, but just the name recognition gets them so far. And yes, maybe that is what happened here. But we cannot make a decision. I can't get mad at a country for making a decision. I've been through that before on many, many occasions. I remember in 2008, Germany, No Angels were selected with a terrible song, and they finished basically in last place that year at Eurovision. And they were only selected because of the name recognition. There was a really beautiful ballad in the running that just had no chance because it was an unknown musical theater performer. And that kind of stuff happens a lot. You can make the same case 2016 Germany with Jamie Lee. She was not like a superstar, but she just came off of winning The Voice, I think, and that name recognition really helped her as well. But then at Eurovision, she flopped big time, which was expected. So it's always something you need to take into consideration, and that I am taking into consideration. Plus, Tick's song Fallen Angel was the highest charting song of all the songs in the national final. That alone was already a red flag to me. I'm like, hey, why? There is a reason why this one's doing so well in the charts. People really like it. Whether or not you think it's a good choice for Eurovision, people don't sit down and think, okay, the juries will like it this way, the televoters. No, they just vote for what they like. And that is exactly what happened here. Eurotowley says, I absolutely adore Tix's song. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Rare for a favorite of mine to win a national final. My top three: 1 Norway, 2 Israel, 3 Czech Republic. And I've been listening to the Ping Pong song from Israel 2000 album, I Must Be Lockdown Crazy. You're a little crazy if you listen to that song nonstop. But I guess that's what the lockdown does to you. Thanks again for your support, by the way. In terms of the Tix song, so I hear what everyone is saying. I hear you. I hear that it's frustrating and it's upsetting because you love the song so much and you feel robbed to a certain extent. Although you can't get robbed if it was never yours in the first place. If that makes sense. But I'm kind of with Eurotowley here a little bit. Neither Tix nor kind of were my personal number one. They'll always be Yorn. I also enjoyed Emmy very much. So, but between Tix and Kaino, I gravitated more towards Tix's song as well. Again, I agree it may not be the best choice for Eurovision. I said it. I haven't uploaded yet my reaction video yet because I didn't have time. It's recorded though because I did it live. I did say it reminds me a little bit of a 2001 boy band song, especially now that it was translated into English and where I pick up the words. It's just adoring a woman. You're like da 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 da, and it's like, okay, this sounds something that O-Town would have performed in like 20 years ago, and maybe because that was an era I kind of grew up in, that I'm very much in like with that kind of music. I'm a little biased, but I enjoyed the song. At the same time, I understand that there is limited appeal with the ESC United, the Eurovision bubble, but I still think that people sleep a little bit on Tix, and I do think there is a good amount of support because people who vote aren't just people who are on Twitter all day long talking about Eurovision. They're just the once-a-year viewers, and those people can have a significant impact. So I'm not going to lie, me personally, I clicked with Tix's song more than Kaino's. But Kaino's song was not bad at all in any shape or form. I personally missed the playfulness that Spirit in the Sky had. Kaino turned into Alexandra featuring Fred, right? Spirit in the Sky was a playful where the three singers took their turns. Alexandra had her part, Tom had his, Fred has his yoik, and with this song, it was all about is Alexandra singing, and there's a little bit of yoik, and it has been so muted that it was not as prominent anymore, and then Tom was just a backup singer. And the playfulness of the song I was missing that Spirit in the Sky really brought to the table. So that to me was a little bit of a letdown. And I've never been a big fan of their staging. They don't do it much, right? They just stand there with lighting and in their positions. They did that with Spirit in the Sky, and it completely worked. But it's just, to me, I don't get quite as engaged with it. That being said, what I love about Kaino is in Tel Aviv and during the whole process, they were so involved. They're like dedicated acts, and they're so likable and approachable, and they take it seriously. Like, you just want them to do well. So if they would have won, I would have been over the moon because it's in a deserving act, and clearly the fans love it. But I'm just saying that is, I think that people who are very upset saying Norway's not going to qualify, it's going to come last, maybe. I just don't think it is quite as bad as some people make it out to be. Things can happen. Things can happen. Jellyship is saying, I love Tix's song and I love Kaino's song. I voted for Tix because I missed something in Kaino's performance. That's kind of what I said as well, right? It was just a little... the big note everyone's talking about, it was amazing, absolutely. But was it a little bit by the book? You can make a case. And Jocasta is asking, who makes a better angel? Norway 21, Croatia 2019, or Azerbaijan 2006? Um, Listen, I'm going to talk about that as well. So the staging received a good amount of criticism from the community because it's that angel outfit that he's wearing, and it has done before to death, as pointed out in Azerbaijan 2006, Croatia 2019. We had more subtle angel-inspired outfits as well. His is as angelly as it can get. I don't necessarily think that you can immediately disregard this particular idea just because it has been done before. Like, if you, there are different ways to do it, just like skinny short dresses, you cannot have them again because we've had them before. Now, if you add a little bit more of a flavor to it, it can work. I personally thought that the performance looked fine to me. I do like the demons or dark angels on chains, even though I almost wish they would pull more or something like that. But now that I know the lyrics, I don't know if that's even necessary because I don't think how it's really related to the lyrics anymore, except for the fallen angel and the demon part. But it's visually at least memorable. Now, a lot of people don't like it because they find it's cheesy and has been done before. I thought it actually kind of made the song a little pop to me. So I don't necessarily have an issue with it. Between those three options, 21 Norway, Croatia 2019, Azerbaijan 2006, but it's 2008, I'm just realizing. I'm seeing 2006 is 2008. I will say I liked Norway's the best, the visual, because I do like the demons dancing part a whole lot better. So the only thing, and this is one thing, people in Norway know Tix. They know his thing, they know his shtick. To me, when I see him on stage, of course, he wears the white angel outfit, but then he has that golden outfit underneath with the chains and the, what was like a big a cube or something, a dice, I think, a die, yeah. And then his sunglasses and the headband, and it's kind of like, the look is very confusing and does not match. To Norwegians, it makes sense. To the international crowd, it can be a little confusing. I understand there is a reason why he's wearing the sunglasses, so I'm not even criticizing for that. All I'm saying is that for a lot of people who don't know what his appearance is all about, it may get a little confusing. But I still think it works for me. I cannot deny it. I like the song. So, yeah, this is what we're having, and I think the community needs to calm down a little bit. I understand it. I understand it. And people also draw a comparison to, we had Alexander Rybak, the winner from the Eurovision 2009 comeback, big hype, and then he did do okay at Eurovision, but he didn't do quite as good as some people thought. He didn't make the top 10 at Eurovision. So, kind of could have had the similar result, but once again, I understand you can say whatever kind of would have brought home the actual Tix outcome would be worse, people are saying. I don't know. I got into a few kerfuffles actually online. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. I wanted to talk about, hey, let's not be mean, and people attacked me for saying that. And then I started, I'm like, hey, stop being jelly, or something like that, and then people got really mad. But, yeah. And if you watch the show, Tix was so happy. Don't take it out on the act. Just be, sad that your favorite act didn't make it, and be happy for Tix because he was so emotional and he is really excited about representing his country. Don't take that away from him, right? So that's my thinking, at least, because it's just not cool. It's just not cool when you do that. Yeah, and Marita explains it in the chat. Tix wore a dice with only once on it because he's got a one in the review from the music experts. Oh, he did that. Marita was as a joke. Either way, even if there's a meaning, it doesn't mean anything to anyone on an international level. So he will go to Eurovision, as pointed out, and will battle for a spot in the grand final. He is in the first semifinal in the second half. We don't know the exact running order, but he's in the second half, which is already a good setup. Now, semi 1 is what most people would refer to as the tougher semi because the traditionally more players in Eurovision are all in there, like Australia's there, Russia, Sweden, Azerbaijan, Malta. Well, Malta is a hit or miss. Ukraine, so there are a good amount of big names in there that people think it's going to be harder to make it to the next to the finals, but You never know. We don't even know all of the songs yet. Let's see what other songs that are in the first semi are competing. So let's see. The Roop is in the first semi-final with Discotheque, another big candidate. Croatia with Albina and TikTok. And Eden Alain, Set Me Free. Huh. Thomas is asking, Matt, do you think Tick's song would have won MGP if it was performed by another artist? A different act? Maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe it would have. It's a question I will not be able to answer because we just don't know. But we could make the same case. What kind of would have Monument done so well with the internationals if it wasn't Kaino performing it? You know, them back and they loved the song. Would I loved it as much with a random singer as well? Some people might saying yes, but would it be as popular? I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see how things, I think over the next few days, things will hopefully kind of just relax a little. People will be a little less stressed out and just accept the results. And that's what I keep saying. Don't worry about it. The song will exist. If you love Monument, you can listen to it for the rest of your life because it'll always be there. Yes, it won't go to Eurovision and we'll never know how it would have done. But music always exists. Eurovision isn't everything. I've been doing that for so long now, and I stopped being upset and disappointed by the results of national finals because I cannot control them. It becomes emotionally too taxing. So I just enjoy it. I know, well, I know that Jorn didn't win approach, and that's what we leave at that. And at the end, you can answer my question, but that's what we have with Norway, and that was only one show. I think it just got the biggest attention because of the slightly unexpected outcome, or to some unexpected. I was not too surprised because again, I wouldn't say I called it, but I just said be cautious. I just wasn't quite as convinced of a certain or sure win for Kaino. Another national final that took place right now, yesterday, was Finland, UMK. 7 songs battling it out, and the interesting part is they had a 25% jury vote and then a 75% televote. So now that came in, the juries, not by a huge landslide, but definitely they gave the win to Blind Channel Dark Side. Then the televote came in and the win went to Dark Side. Which is Blind Channel performing Dark Side at Eurovision 2021. They won by a landslide. I mean, the number of votes that they received is ridiculous. I had it up just a minute ago, and I'll bring it up while this is happening. But there is no question, that they deserve the victory. Here it is. So they received 75,000 votes, 75 and 40 to be exact. This next second place was Teflon Brothers and Pandora with I Love You. They received 23,493 votes, which is... So Blind Channel actually received more than 3 times the amount of votes than the second placer. That's how much Finland wanted to see this song at Eurovision. And that is exactly what happened. And it was a huge success already in Finland. Record numbers of people watched the show. 1.7 million people. 1.7. For Finland, that is gigantic. So there was a huge excitement and hype around Blind Channel apparently, and it paid off. So big numbers in terms of viewership, big numbers in terms of vote. Blind Channel going to Eurovision with a sound that will certainly stand out, and I'm just very, very curious about your thoughts. So Blind Channel Teflon Brothers and Pandora with I Love You finished in second place, then Ilta in third. Again, that is a very interesting setup because I keep thinking, okay, well, the juries voted this way. Okay, the juries didn't matter that much. There was a very little impact that the juries had in terms of the results. So, Danny was in the Laura, Blind Channel, Ilta, and Oscar. These 7 acts tried to, but there were never a match for the Blind Channel group. Now, Blind Channel did a superb performance. I just posted my reaction video earlier this morning. I was asleep, I think, when it came out, but that was fantastic. I think there are a few things that they need to work on, mostly camera work and some of the places where they're standing and stuff, but nothing that can't be fixed on an energy level. And sound wise, it was fantastic. I really, really love that song. What's interesting about it is that a lot of rock fans don't care for that song because it's not necessarily a rock song per se. It's more of an aggressive pop with some rap influences, has a good amount of American music influence into it, but it's a kind of music that's very popular in Finland as well. They love that kind of sound, and I kind of like I love it too. Lyrically, it's almost like what's going on? It's very like it seems as they're talking about suicide and but it's not really suicide. It's also about starting up your life. But it's very very you need to really pay attention to the words to see what they're saying. The whole Club 27 thing always comes to mind. It's that thing where a lot of big artists die at the age of 27. Kurt Cobain comes to mind, Amy Winehouse, I think Janis Joplin, and there are so many. Jimi Hendrix? I don't know, but there are a lot of people. It's 27 seems to be that magical number where a lot of the good ones die, if you will. So it has become kind of you know, a legend thing. So I get uncomfortable when I hear that because 27 is way too young, obviously. But yeah, it is definitely not traditionally rock. People often just easily jump into that conclusion, but it has a little bit more of the hard, good electric guitar sound, therefore it's rock. It's not. It is. I get that people get that vibe, but it's not. It's really just more like aggressive pop. That's another word I'm looking for. Violent pop. Violent pop is what I was looking for. And it has some rap portions in it as well, but it's just done so well, in my view. And I think that Finland could potentially bring home their best result since Lordi, and probably the second best result of all time. I do think that on paper, because we don't know the competition, that Finland has a shot at the top five. Finland only made the top five once when they won in 2006 with Lordi. Other than that, they've never made it into the top five in Eurovision. So this would be crazy if this were to become the second best result for Finland. Granted, we don't know yet. There's going to be plenty of competition out there, but it's nice to see Finland actually being a player again because it's been a long time since Lordi's win. I mean, when was the last time they really were like a song that people really were like, oh yeah? Hasn't happened a whole lot. 2017, you can make a case, but that didn't pan out in the end anyway. Some questions about Finland in the chat, as always, at ESC United. Let me know. This year we will see Denmark's. Oh no, that's a different one. Sorry. Can Blind Channel go and win the whole thing? Latvian is asking. They could. I'm still hesitant to call the winner. I do think that they scream to me like definite or like likely top 10, potential top 5. As far as winners concerned, ask me again once we have all 41 songs. It will be sure for us their best results in Soft Engine in 2014. Yes, Soft Engine, something better. Finished in 11th place, I believe, or 12th place at Eurovision in 2014. The last time they were on the left side of the scoreboard as well. Still not a top 10 result, but that could certainly happen. So, thoughts about Ilta's live performance. My thoughts were that I missed half of it. I forget what happened, but I had to flip some over to somewhere else. So I didn't get the whole performance in. I just know she looked pretty, but I did miss parts of it. So I don't necessarily want to comment on that. I'm gonna watch that afterwards. Ryan Mapper is saying Darkside itself categorizes itself as violent pop, and I'm living for every second of it. Yes, violent pop. I called it aggressive pop, but they call it violent pop. That is exactly what it is. It's just very angry pop, right? But it's just almost its own genre because it's not for everyone. But I do think it has a little bit more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Universal appeal, I guess, where rock fans can appreciate it, pop fans can appreciate it, rap fans can appreciate it, and just your average Eurovision fan can really like it. It just has a very unique sound and energy to it. Unique may not be the right word because we certainly have heard that kind of music before, but certainly in Eurovision terms, we don't get that kind of music a whole lot. And that alone, I think, is a really good option. So, Did you enjoy UMK's English commentary? Yeah, yeah, saying. I mean, the commentary was straight to the point. I mean, these people obviously their English is their second language, so they just try to stick to the script. It was fine. I like that we had it. I like that we had it. It worked, and they didn't try to be too funny because sometimes people don't speak the language well. And they're trying to be hilarious. It just doesn't work. So I'm glad that we're just kind of more like we're talking, we're giggling a little, so it worked. We got the gist of the story, and I'm appreciative that they did that. They did different languages as well. So if you watch it online, you could watch it with English commentary, Finnish one probably, and then some other languages, maybe French. I don't even know. But yeah, I liked the idea very much. Blind Channel did surprisingly well in the international jury votes. Do you think it'll do as good in Eurovision with the juries as in UMK? I can see that happening. I don't necessarily see certain songs they just like, oh, they're not going to do well with juries. You just get that vibe. I don't get that vibe with Blind Channel at all. I get more of a Georgia 2016 vibe, actually, where the juries actually quite liked it and gave it more points than the televoters in the end. So, which is, again, not the same style. Don't get it on my nerves. But you get what I'm saying. It's a little bit less, the Eurovision type. Like, it's outside the Eurovision comfort zone. And I think that juries may like it. May not be number one with the juries, but could go pretty high. So, yes. Now let's talk about real quick about, have you heard any of the other Pandora songs, Matt? She has really good songs. I have not, Linnea. I have not listened to any of Pandora. The first time I heard of her was from when she took part in this national final. So Teflon Brothers and Pandora, I Love You. They finished in second place. They were one of the biggest chart successes in Finland before the contest, and one of my favorites. I think Dark Channel and Teflon Brothers were like equal to me, but I think I put them, even Teflon Brothers, in first place, but by a hair, because I love them both equally. I was not thrilled with yesterday's situation, and I love the song still, but vocally it was so disappointing. The energy wasn't there. I felt like there should have been more dancers, because it was a dancey song, or at least more slick camera work to get the energy, and the energy didn't come there. That being said, I mean, the UFO and the very fun visual feast, you can make a case maybe a little much, but it was fun to watch. It just, the sound and the energy wasn't there. So I prefer the studio version a whole lot over the actual performance last night. But I liked so many songs. Ilta did a beautiful job. I mean, the song was really pretty. I happened to listen to the performance again. Poor Laura, getting hardly any points. I think 4 from the juries and then 9 from the televoters, so virtually nothing there. Danny had a very beautiful staging as well, with him disappearing because he's singing about his funeral. I was like, oh, that is a cool effect that we've never really seen before. And I would have loved for him to get a few more points. Probably not the win, but hey, it wasn't that bad. Salming was saying I was disappointing. It was disappointing live performance when you remember they have been planned 5 years to participate in UMK. Salming, are you referring to Teflon Brothers? That would be a little bit of a surprise. I did not know they were waiting 5 years to take part. I mean, keep in mind, a second place is still an amazing feat. Like there can only be one winner, and Teflon Brothers had a clear second place. So it was like blind channel, and then nothing, and then Teflon Brothers, and then nothing, and then the rest. So that's basically how it turned out. So yes, that is what happened. But overall, I thought Finland had a very, very, very good selection, and they made the right choice. And I am over the moon, and I'm hoping that Finland will get its best results, certainly since 2014, and hopefully since 2006 when they won the contest, exactly 15 years later. That's a good number, right? 15 years? I can live with that. So that is what we have in Finland. So we have those 2 songs now in the running as well, which is really, really exciting. And then we had another show, and that was in Spain. So we knew already that Blas Cantó, who was previously selected to represent Spain at the contest in 2020 with Universal, was asked to return, and so he did. And he performed two songs in the national final, which was really interesting that they decided, okay, we have two songs and those two will be performed. So it was Memoria and Voy a Quedarme. I don't speak Spanish, so forgive me. But those two songs were up for a vote, and ultimately the people decided that Voy a Quedarme is the better choice. 58% voted for it, and it is the song for Eurovision. Unfortunately, I cannot play any clips on here because of copyright reasons, which is, just what it is. But you can always check it out on YouTube later on. But yeah, that is the song that's been chosen, and those two songs, we just found out like a week ago that we're going to have the national final yesterday. So it was all very last minute. The songs were thrown at us randomly, and I think there's the reason why the show had such low viewerships. Less than 1 million people watched it in Spain. It's the lowest viewing figure since 2009 at least. So we're talking like over a decade, and this is a little disappointing that they put very little. It was so disjointed and disorganized how they do it, and it keeps happening every single year with Spain, because we all know Spain has really good music, yet, and they do so well at junior, yet they cannot really translate it into the adult version of the contest. It's just mind-boggling to me. Both songs, to me, if you watch my reaction video, if not, check it out later, were both just very radio friendly, soothing, middle of the road, mid-tempo songs that just don't leave an impact. I will say I listened to Voy Academ, and Blas Cantó, much credit to him, when he performed it live, sounded way better. Like, he adds so much to it when he performs it. So it's definitely not as bad, not as dull as the studio version. So thank God we have a good, competent singer for Spain that can really make something with the song. But overall, I don't know if the song really captivates my heart, and it is just very, very middle of the road and uninspiring to me. That is how I felt about Spain, and there is a reason why they just can't keep coming out of the right. I'm not sure if they keep changing the team, or the same people are in charge and just not learning their lesson. And it's like they're trying something different, but it's just, I don't know. I wish I could just walk into the room during a meeting. I'm like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? Listen, it's not that. I mean, it can't be that. I have a hard time believing that there's not an abundance of options available to them. Songwriters, I mean, to be fair, singers is not necessarily the issue. They have plenty of good singers in Spain, and they sent them to Eurovision, so it's not the lack of talent. It's really just like the lack of leadership and songwriters. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I would love to hear from you. Help me out. What is it with Spain and them not putting forward a good song? Good is relative, it's subjective. But when you look at the results over the last few years with Spain, I think that's the answer. 2017, 18, 19, 20 was like one of the better results almost, which is kind of sad. And this year, I am worried that they're going to be in the bottom 5 again, potentially bottom 3. Again, we don't know the competition yet. It's just the kind of song that just blends in, and you'll never talk about it again in your life. And that doesn't mean it's a bad song. And I'm sure there will be worse songs in the running, but sometimes being worse and being almost like atrociously bad is sometimes better, because at least people remember it and you get some sympathy votes or some, like the rebel vote. And I don't think Spain gets that. So at ESC United, let me know in the chat what is going on. Untitled Girl says, it was a mess. RTVE switched the voting numbers for Memoria and Voy Academe so that the percentage of the first one would rise and keep that way the thrill. Really? That is a mess. I didn't even catch that. I watched Spain on the side because it was so boring. And on top of that, why, when you have 2 songs to perform, why do you need to have like a 2-hour show or something like that, an hour, 1 hour 45 minutes or whatever it was? They ran over for like 30 minutes. You can do that thing in 30 minutes max. If you really want to drag it out, do it an hour. That's long already. But come on. I know there's not much to do right now, but that show was like, oh my god. It dragged out so much. kind of genres. I actually think 2018 and 19 were great and very underrated. 2018 I kind of liked as well, actually. I like both 2018 19 to a certain extent. But when you underrated, maybe true, but there's a reason why people just don't gravitate towards it. Because some people may like it if you're a minority, but you need to get a majority and you get the masses to support. And if you just get like a handful of people being excited, that won't cut it. Won't cut it. And it's true, somebody says it's a tradition in Spain to do these kind of concerts celebrating the artist for Christmas, so they did that for Blas too. I have no problem with celebrating artists, but it's just a cultural thing, I guess. They don't do the show for the international crowd, they do it for the local ones. But, oh, I was like, I remember just doing other stuff, playing like my app game, and it's like, okay, I can't. Actually, I went to my forum and kind of complained because the people were so upset about the whole Norway thing, so I started just talking about Norway rather than paying attention to Spain. It was just very, very hard to really keep track. So that means now we have 3 additional songs. That is exciting. We have a total of 10 songs, and get ready because next week we're gonna get like 5, 6 more songs. I know now it's gonna hit back, bang, bang, bang. Every day we get a song, so that means a gazillion reaction videos and news videos coming from us. So make sure to subscribe to our channel as they are coming in, and then we finally hopefully have some guests back as well, so you not only get to hear my opinion, but the last couple of weeks were a little insane to say the least. Besides the 3 songs that were chosen, we also had a few actually national finals going on. The big one, of course, we're talking Melodifestivalen in Sweden. Sweden had the 3rd semifinal. A lot of you guys watch it probably, but in case you don't, let me explain to you what happened. So 7 acts performed last night, and then the people voted. 5 of them would move on, 2 would be eliminated the second round of voting, and then after that, 2 songs would go on straight to the finals, 2 will go to the second chance round, and then another song eliminated. So this is what happened. The first song that was announced as a direct qualifier was Charlotte Perrelli. And she may look awfully familiar to you, as she has been to Eurovision twice. In 1999, back then Charlotte Nielsen won Eurovision. She won it with Take Me to Your Heaven. And then she came back in 2008 with Hero, qualified for the finals, didn't do quite as well, but she still did well. I mean, winning Melodifestivalen, making the finals is already quite an accomplishment. So she performed Still Young, a song basically celebrating, enjoying growing up or getting older, I guess, for the lack of a better word. So that was the first qualifier, and then the other one was Tusse, who was the last to perform that night with Voices, also directly qualified for the final. Not a big surprise here. That was an expected qualifier, biggest hype and popularity. And then two second chance candidates will be Clara Hammarström, Beat of Broken Hearts. She gets to perform again in a couple of weeks. And then Alvaro Estrella, Baya Baya, also through to the second chance round. So those are the songs. That means the 3 songs that have been eliminated are Emil Asgard, Mustache, and Elisa. Those are the results. Let's talk about them. So, I'm dying to find out what you guys have to say. So, if you watch my I did my top 7 video. Once again, things didn't turn out quite as I hoped, but that is just, if it ever happened what I want in Sweden, then I would question my sanity. It seems like Sweden and we just don't match when it comes to music taste, certainly not in the semifinals. Although I'm thrilled that Charlotte Perrelli, she was my favorite, went through, so for that alone, I should be excited. I thought that she performed it well. It is schlagerlicious, and that's all we can talk about it. Is it going to win Melodifestivalen? No, because it's just a very specific sound, but I find it actually, I'm going to say it, a lot more authentic than some of the other songs that keep going through in Sweden. I enjoyed Charlotte's song because it has a kick-ass chorus and melody, and sometimes that's all you need, right? A kick-ass chorus and melody that is grand and memorable, and she performed it well, and she absolutely deserved it, in my opinion. She was by far, to me, the clear favorite. The only song I completely enjoyed. It was a fairly weak semi, according to my taste, and so her win in the qualification, I was like, yes, yes, super awesome. And then Tusse Voices is the second qualifier of the night. Was not really my kind of song. Like, I put it in my ranking in fourth place. I would have been okay with the second chance round. I just didn't click with it. I acknowledge his vocal capabilities. He's a good singer. Song to me, I don't even remember it now. Like, I'm trying to remember how the melody goes. And as I'm trying to do that, I just keep singing, "'Cause we're still young." Like, Charlotte, get out of my head. Charlotte, out. Out. Because that song just is burned into my brain. Well, I cannot remember Tussa's song voices, but I do remember him having a really good voice. And the running order always predetermines one of the qualifiers anyway, because they put the favorite in last in the running order, so you knew that this one was going to go through. One of the things I dislike about Melodifestivalen tremendously, not that they're the only ones doing it, but they were so extreme about it. The other two acts that are still in the running, Clara Hammarström, Beat of Broken Hearts. I'm happy that she gets to go again. Last year, she had actually a better song, in my opinion, but she was in a tough semi. The toughest semi of last year with Anna Bergendahl and Daughter and Paul Ray and somebody else. So she just had no shot at it, and she was eliminated. This time, at least at a bare minimum, she gets to go to the second chance round. Whether or not she's going to make it to the finals, the 50-50 shot. It's a fairly, safe, middle of the road pop song to me. She performed it well. Her outfit was quite something. But yeah, since I wasn't crazy about this semi, I was not really into it. And then Alvaro Estrella Baya, bless his heart. He's an artist. I respect him for being an artist. His music, I hate this Spanish Latin music that they make so cliche. If it's done right and it's genuine, by all means. But this whole Vayos Amigos and Baya, and I'm like, ugh. I hated Vamos Amigos last year, and this song drives me equally nuts. And I think it was one of my least favorites. And so I figure this song often is a typical, let's go to the second chance round and take the spot from a better song in the finals. It's just a kind of song that does well in a duel, because it has like these anti-voters often going for it. So I didn't like that song at all. And so I am bummed out that a song like Emil's, who I thought was a lot more interesting, didn't make at least second chance round. Didn't expect it to, but I was still hoping. I was still hoping for a miracle. Elisa, I really like that song, actually. It's a Schlager song that is in Swedish, and it's outdated, and it's such a genre that it doesn't work anymore at Melodifestivalen. But I thought she performed it well. It looked good, and at least had a memorable melody, so I was way more into that. So if it would have been up to me, the top two would have been Charlotte Perrelli and probably Emil Asagad. Those would have been gone through to the directly, and I would have put Elisa and Tusse as second chance round candidates. Clearly not how it really worked out for the most part, but in the last few weeks, the same thing happened to me as well. Would love to hear from you, your thoughts, any other observations about the show at ESC United. I would love to hear from you. Adrian Fung saying, Tusse is now the odds favorite to win Melfest, Adrian is saying. And I saw that last night, and I'm like, am I missing something? Talk to me, people. Talk to me. Am I the only one not getting it? Is it really just another everyone loves it but me kind of song? Is it going to be a Benjamin Ingrosso situation, Robin, singing like, where I was like, I don't get the song at all, and then it does so well, and I feel Tusse's song just does it to me. Nothing against the artist, the song is just nothing to me. I need to listen to it again because I just don't remember it. I listened to it twice now. But yeah, I'm surprised to see it as the actual betting odds favorite. I will say I tweeted about it yesterday as well, or something like down the line, maybe on the forum. But I was saying that I will bet my right hand that the winner is actually in the semi four. I'm looking at you, the Mamas. I'm looking at you, Eric Sade. One of you will probably have the winning song. Because right now, I'm not stoked with the lineup. I think Charlotte Perrelli is my favorite. And Daughter second, probably. So yeah, that is what it is. Jellyship is saying, I think Tusse is a potential winner for Melodifestivalen and he has the vocals and a great performance. I love Daughter too, but I think her vocals aren't good enough to get enough jury support. I guess we disagree on that one. I thought the performance was fairly boring. I mean, the performance was fine, but again, the song is just not there. And it's one of the songs that would I say dislike? No, but it would probably be one of those songs that is just completely forgotten to me. And since I don't like it, therefore it will do bad at Eurovision, because that's how we do it, right? If I don't like a song, it clearly is not going to do well at the contest. I love that about the Eurovision community. If I don't like a song, therefore it's going to do well, worse or bad. Always drives me nuts. Connor saying, don't worry, you're not the only one. I think Voices is so dated and cheesy. Yay, I'm not the only one. Car is saying, I don't get Tusse either, especially seeing some people. It's a potential winner in Rotterdam. It's not going. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to do well. I just don't see how people would go for it. But how? No, it's not going to win. That's one thing I can bet. Not I just bet my right hand, so I'm going to bet my right nut next. I'm not going to have much body parts left if we keep doing that, even if I lose. So, but it's not going to win. It's not going to win. Let's not kid ourselves. Connor John was saying, Tusse would flop at Eurovision. It sounds like an X Factor winner song from 2005. Yes! Yes, that is exactly what it sounds like. Thank you for pointing that out. I totally agree with that. I feel like we're bashing on Tusse. That was not my intent here. But it's just kind of, everyone is talking about Tusse right now here. Next, Untitled Girl is saying, this year I have zero excitement for Melodifestivalen. Is it because of the songs or is it because the Mamas should have been chosen again? I don't know. It's not like other years. No, Untitled Girl, I agree with you. I try not to be, because there seems to be sometimes an unfair amount of negativity towards Melodifestivalen by fans. Like, I'm not talking saying it's jealousy or it's, whatever it may be, or negativity. I do feel like, but there is too much negativity towards Melodifestivalen in general by a lot of the diehard Eurovision fans. So I'm usually the one to go out with a big bang here, and right now I'm just not seeing it. Right now, I don't even confident that Sweden would be in the top 10. But the Mamas, Erik Saade, I still think we do have the winner coming up in the next semi. Maybe it's just hoping, but I'm very, very underwhelmed by Melodifestivalen this year. Because the first semi started out quite well, to me. I thought like, oh, there's some really good music in there, but then all my favorite songs were eliminated or barely made a second chance round, and ever since it's just kind of like, I'm not right that into it. So that is how I feel, at least. Adrian Fung is saying, I don't want either Daughter or Tusse to win this year because they both deserve to represent Sweden with better songs. They are great singers and personality. I think that is very fair. Little Todd had a little bit more of an impact on me, the chorus, but I hear what you're saying. I think that there are better options for her out there, and I keep repeating myself. It'll be semi-4, people. It will be semi-4. Someone's asking how I feel about Little Todd. Is your favorite? Little Todd is my second favorite right now. Again, I don't have a big opinion on any of the current direct qualifiers. I would have to take a look at the list. Okay, I wrote them down yesterday, and I should have had them up, but I don't right now. So let me think. My favorite is probably Charlotte Perrelli right now. Then it's Daughter. Then actually Avignana is probably my third at this point. Then Nothing. Then Daughter. Tusse. Then Danny, and then Anton Ewald. Those is probably my current ranking out of the 6 that are through. So yeah. And Carr is saying another thing about Melodifestivalen this year. I think most of other countries that have not national final have done a better job than SBT when it comes to doing a social distance show. I guess you're right. Although, I mean, they don't have an audience, so that is probably the biggest thing. And I would think that they all have testing and quarantine in place for this. So I don't know. But Sweden, notorious for not being the best when it comes to social distancing. We all know that they didn't do anything for the longest time in terms of implementing rules for social distancing, wearing masks, and all of that stuff. And it showed in the number of deaths and infections that they had. So they're not maybe the leader in that one. They've gotten better now, but hey, that is just how I feel about this. So that is what's happening in Sweden. And the other ones, let's just go for them real fast because there is more to come. So we had the second semifinal show in Estonia. We already had 6 qualifiers from Semi 1 on Thursday, and yesterday the second semifinal of Eesti took place, where 4 songs were chosen by a combination of jury and televote to move on to the grand final, and 2 songs in the second round of voting, pure televote. And here are the results. Kadri Vorand Energy is through directly. Yuku Suviste, the lucky one. Yuri Portsman, Magus Julia, and another band, Suret, Turturuk, Heaven's Not That Far Tonight. So those were the songs that went through in the first round, and then the televoters, in addition, put through Sissy with Time and Riddell Tartu. So those are the 6 songs that will join the lineup in Eesti next week, I believe, and we'll have, the week after, and will actually, maybe one of them may win. We don't know. Could be someone from the first semi, but that's where we at. So looking at the list, again, I did a ranking video quite a while ago. My top 2 are through, and that is all I care about. And those were Uku Suviste, the lucky one, and Katri Vorand Energy. And I am shocked that Energy went through. There was so much negativity and so far down in the rankings, but she's a superb singer, and she brought so much class and feelings to the song. I thought it was amazing. She probably did, when the jury voting got brought up, she probably didn't do as well with the televote, but I loved it, and I thought it was fantastic. And Yuko Savista just had the better song, I think, but the performance wasn't that good. The sound was off. He wasn't like singing bad, but it's just the staging was super dark. You could barely see him, and it just didn't sound right. Still a good song, so I'm glad he went through, but there needs to be a good amount of fixing as well. Now, let me bring up the thing again here. There's one thing in particular I'm very disappointed by, and that is Gramophone Lost in a Dance, because I really liked that song. It was my 3rd favorite, but it fell apart last night vocally. I think there was maybe a level of overexcitement, that the energy was there, but it sounded bad, and then ultimately it didn't look good either. And I was quite disappointed, and I was not shocked it flopped in the end, but I'm disappointed because I really, really enjoyed it. And I will also say that my biggest surprise of the evening was Yuri Putzman, because the studio version, I was kind of just like, it's too artsy for me, but it worked live. When I watched it, I'm like, oh man, this is actually quite good. It's one of those songs that win me over live. Like, I wouldn't listen to it in the studio version a whole lot, but I enjoyed it when it was on stage, and I agree it's a deserved qualifier. And Heaven's Not That Far Out Tonight, great singers. It was just, so fun. It's like the family goes on stage and performs and sings together. It was just a more genuine, not trying too hard kind of song, and you just had to love it. And we all were just kind of like, aww, and I'm glad it kind of went through. It's not going to win, but I'm okay with the qualifiers. And now we have to wait and see who's going to win in Eesti. The still 2 favorites are still Yuku Saviste with the lucky one, and of course, Koit Tome. I think it'll be a battle between those 2 unless we're going to see a surprise emerge. Yuri Putzman maybe has a shot. I don't know. But the interesting part is the favorites appears to be only the returnees, like former Eesti winners or representatives. Koit Tome, Yuko Saviste, Yuri Putzman. Those are the names that we all know, and they seem to have the best songs. Right? I'd love to hear from you at ESC United in the chat. Adrian Fong is saying Koit and Yuko are the co-favorites to win, both with the same odds. Yeah, and it doesn't surprise me. Just based on the performances that I've seen so far, Koit should be the front runner right now. The performance was more slick, more complete, and it sounded right. Yuko needs to fix this. Whatever it is, he got to fix it. But I do think that he is actually on paper the one to beat if he because he has just such a big support and fan base in Estonia, and he'll get so many televotes. And if he makes it to the golden final, super final, he'll win this probably unless something crazy happens. So if I had to put money down, and I don't because I love money, I don't. I mean, I'm not like that kind of person, but I don't want to waste my money. I'm fiscally very conscious. That's how I phrase it. I would never bet, but if I had to, I would put my money down on Yuko Suviste because it's just it just screams winner at me, and he will have the sympathy vote on top of it because he was supposed to go last year. Everything that I'm looking at is screams for me to be the one that is gonna go through. So Antkar is saying, I think the only way Yuko doesn't win is if the jury ranks him very low and he misses the super final altogether. Yes, I said the same thing, I think during the last live stream, maybe at some point this past week. The only way for Yuko not win if he finished like last or second last in the jury vote, and then even if he gets the 12 points from the televote, it's not enough to make it to the super final, and those odds are really low because that kind of happened to almost Verona and even What Love Is from last year. I just don't see it happening, so I think it's going to be hard to beat Yuko as much as I would love for Koit to go. And I like Yuko's song as well. It's just right now I was a little bit more like, I didn't quite feel it last night. But again, win me back over, Yuko. I'm still rooting for you. I'm rooting for Koit as well. So it's one of those two. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Adrian is saying both Koit and Yuko have huge fan bases and they will battle each other to the death in the super final. The fans trying to outvote each other. Ooh, that's going to be fun. I'm going to eat popcorn while watching it. But again, that's fine. In my view, those are the two best songs. So I couldn't be too upset. And then just real quick, and then we open to the general Q&A session. Portugal had the first semifinal, which to me was the inferior one. And they're the reasons why we didn't have a live stream last night. I may do a live stream next Saturday while this show is still going on because it's on until like 1 in the morning in Europe, and I cannot do a live stream after that. It's too late. But these are the results. The Black Mamba is through with Love Is On My Side. Valeria is through. I'm not going to pronounce that song. Fabia Maya is through. Ketos, Romeo, Byros, and Sarah Afonso. So all of these songs are through to the big contender of my top to begin with. This semi in particular, the only song that I truly cared about is through, which is Carretos and Romeo Byros. That was the only one I was like, okay, yeah, that one I like. And I'm glad it made it through. And the next week to me is the strongest semi anyway. And I hope the winner will come from that one. We don't know exactly how the juries and the televoters, the points were distributed, but we'll find out soon enough. So as I said, next week will be the second semifinal, and we'll get more information on that as well. And that's all the national final updates we have. So 3 new songs and 3 semifinals completed. And next week, throughout the week, not just the weekend, keep in mind San Marino releases their song. I think Ireland and Germany and some other countries. So keep an eye out every single day. Every flippin' single day. So now let's talk Eurovision in general terms. We got a few more minutes at ESC United. I would love to hear from you, your questions. I'm looking at, I like Yuri too, but I prefer him next year. This year, I want Yuko Suviste, though, my Eurovision TV is saying. And yes, I'm kind of biased towards Yuko because I want him to get his other shot that I keep promoting, like, they should have brought them all back. Which, by the way, upsets me. Ben and Tan from Denmark. You heard about that, right? So the duo that won last year, DMGP, didn't go. They submitted a song, and Denmark, DR, the broadcaster, didn't even had the audacity not even to reject them, not to even include them in the lineup. At the bare minimum, that is what they could have done. Finland has done that. Sweden has done that. Lithuania, Estonia, they all, but DR is like, we're better than this. And the song that they had was the best that, better than any of the other songs that are in the running in the national final in Denmark. And it pisses me off to no end. So I just had to vent for there for a second. They should have been given at least, at the bare minimum, a slot if they didn't want to give them a direct ticket. And the fact that they just rejected them is a low blow when they tried to come back. Ulrika in Norway, she didn't want to come back that year, so I get it. Yeah, don't force her. Don't force her. But, come on, that was low. Anyway, I was just annoyed. I vented, I'm done. Yokasa is saying, which song released next week are you excited for the most? Well, this is a personal bias, and we all have our biases, so I suppose it's alright. Germany. My home country. Because Germany kind of sucks at Eurovision. I keep almost like, they usually suck until they're really good. They just like, I suck, I suck, I suck. We're awesome. We suck, we suck, we suck, we suck, we suck, we suck. We're awesome. We suck. You know, it's just how they do. There's no middle ground, and it's almost like they just get really lucky when they're, you know. I don't know how they do it. So, but I am excited. The guy who's Yenrik, he seems like a very upbeat, fun guy, and I'm hoping we're going to get a song like that. I'm because of the whole COVID pandemic lockdown scenario, I'm very much gravitating towards the upbeat, happy sound this year. It's not fair, maybe, but that's just how it goes. And the only exception probably is Portugal, where I love the sad, depressing song. But other than that, I'm very much more like, yeah, I'm really into the happy sounds. I'm hoping we're going to get something like that. Well, Sasuri is saying, first, about Tusse, I agree, I don't like the song, but about Clara's song, I don't say that I really like it, but for me, it's the best in semifinal 3. Overall, what are you doing, Sweden? Yeah, I mean, I can see what people think that Clara had the best song. I thought that semifinal 3 in Sweden was the most, what's the term, Melodifestivalen friendly. There has been very little like contemporary music or Chaffany. It seems all like the songs were very much great for Melodifestivalen environment. And that is ultimately what they care about the most. Right? Melodifestivalen is way more popular in Sweden than Eurovision. So they're not just going to think about, okay, what would do well at Eurovision. So that is also a thing that we need to take into consideration. It is not always as black and white. But yeah, this is definitely, it wasn't a great semi, and I sound like a broken record. Bring it on, semi 4. Bring it on. Raven is saying, what do you think about Victoria's songs? Which one is your favorite? So, I don't want to say who's my favorite just yet because I recorded all videos, but I still have to put 2 of them up. I'm just so busy. I'll try to get them up tonight, if not tomorrow. And in the last video, I will tell you who my favorite is. I already have 4 videos out, so you can check them out. But forgive me, I cannot tell you right now what my favorite is because I want to put it in my video. So, Connor John, what do you think of the overall song quality selected so far? I think it's really strong. I think it is good. It's not weak. Some people are saying like it's not a good year so far. I don't think so. There are very few songs that out of the 10 selected so far, I'm trying to think, is there's one, there's not a single one I dislike. And that is good. That's already good. You know, we're almost 25% a fourth quarter into the songs, and there's not song where I was like, ooh. Some songs I don't get quite as excited about because they're just kind of more like there and safe and okay, but none of them really offend me. You know what I mean? There are songs that sometimes really offend me, and that we don't have that yet. So I think it's a good start so far. I think the winner is probably yet to come, but I'm okay. I'm good. Emmanuel saying, do you think people in a country should vote for their favorite song or the song that they think will appeal to people outside their country? Tix and Kino is a good example. Yes, so this is a tough question that I don't know. I want people to vote for what song they like the best. I always say hashtag don't overthink it. We don't know if Kino would have done better. We're all just making speculations because we're talking about the Eurovision bubble. And the Eurovision bubble isn't always representative of the masses. And I use, again, the same example. So if you watch my stream, you're going to be annoyed because I use it all the time. But it's the best example. Daughter was supposed to win last year, right? Everyone was like, well, it's the clear winner. There was like not even a discussion. Bulletproof was the clear, like everyone in the community loves it. And then the mamas win the televote. And there is a reason for that, because there's this group of people that is unaccounted in the online world. These are often older people or less engaged individuals who just watch it on the night. They don't follow it around. And that kind of music often does really well. And I may put Tix's song in that category. I'm not saying it's going to do as well, but I think people overlook it. So sometimes I'm just saying, just vote for what you like. I don't want people to vote just for a name, because that's stupid. But if you like the singer's song, yes. Don't think about, oh, it could do well at Eurovision, da 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 da. No, just vote for what you enjoy. And that often translates. And if it doesn't, so be it. At least the country is like, well, we really like that song and we tried. We wanted Europe to listen to it. And that is what it is. And that sometimes happens, because if we just go by, they should send the song that's going to really kick ass at Eurovision and does well, then we're all going to end up with Fuego. Do you know what I mean? And it is not a diss at Fuego, because it was a fantastic performance. But you cannot just try to come up with something that will be like, by the book. And that's not how music works. And I think Portugal, Salvador Sobral's song is a prime example. Send a song that you feel connected with, that you like. And if the chips fall into place and the emotions are there, you can do well with a song that is not traditionally a success. Do you know what I mean? And that can happen many, many times. A lot of people didn't think that Spirit in the Sky was going to win the televote. Like, that was a big surprise. So things like that can happen. And then North Macedonia winning the jury vote. You just never know. Yes, in the end, the fan favorite, or the bot's favorite, Duncan Lawrence of the Netherlands, won. But it was, number one, not a landslide win. It was close. And he didn't win the televote or the jury vote. He got second with the televoters and third with the juries. So, and he still won. It was just the way the disagreement between televoters and juries is what caused the Netherlands to win. But it's never a guarantee. So, long story short, vote for the song that you think you like the most. Don't think about what can happen at Eurovision. Don't think about the big name. That is my recommendation. United Girl is saying, we still have not heard any of the songs, but I hope this is the year Italy finally gets the trophy. Oh, Untitled Girl, every year we talk about, well, Italy, they need to win. They deserve it. They send so many good songs. And every year I'm saying, well, they can't send a good song every year. And every year they prove me wrong. In 2020, they were in my top 3. In 2019, they were in my top 3. In 2018, they were probably in my top 3, if not top 5. 2017, they were in my top 3. How is that even possible? 2015, they were in my top 3. You know, like, they are so good. And you know, there's going to be that year where the song's not going to be as to my liking. And every year I think it's going to, this is the year. In 21, they're probably not going to, they cannot send another song that I love, and then they prove me wrong. But yeah, I'm ready for an Italy win. They came close too many times. They won the televote in 2015. They won the jury vote in 2011, and now it's time for them to win it all, right? And then in 2019, second place again. It's just like, oh, come on. So close. But it's so wonderful to see so many people rooting for Italy. I don't know what it is. And that is a prime example. You know why? They're not trying too hard. They're sending the song to Sanremo. It's a standalone festival. The people and the juries vote for what they think is the best song, not what could do well at Eurovision. But it works because it's genuine and people like it, and that's the best thing you can do. And I will say, especially in Sanremo right now, the juries do a better job than the televoters, because the televoters tend to vote for the name, the bigger names, and then same for Mahmoud, finished third in the final round of voting last. Same for last year, Fai Rumore. You know, they didn't do well in the televote, and then just blew away the juries, and thankfully they chose the right songs. And that is just wonderful. Next question. Any thoughts about Polish broadcaster being quiet? We don't know who will be represented as well. Other nations picking and announcing their propositions. I know Poland is so quiet. It's going to be a last minute thing. They're probably negotiating right now. I want her to return, and I cannot think of her name right now. Forgive me. I hope they're going to choose her. We need more last year's acts. But yeah, Poland is a little bit in a place at Eurovision where they're trying to figure out what to do and where to go, because when they returned in 2014, they started doing really well, several direct qualifications, and then the last 2 times they flopped. So, and now they're trying to figure out how are we going to do this? Where are we going to go? And I hope I hope that they're going to figure it out. But yeah, the fact that they're not giving us anything, it makes me a little nervous. Besides Russia, I think, and Armenia. Yeah, we don't know exactly what's going on in those countries. It is so weird, and we only have like what 3 weeks left. So get going, Poland, because I am planning a Poland trip. Because my family is from my ancestors, I should say, my great grandparents, even my grandparents, from Poland, and I want to travel there. So I would be stoked. Poland does so well at junior. Can't you just do it at the adult version? What's the hold up? I love Neve's song in Portugal. It touched me on a personal level, and I hope it wins Festival de Canção. It'd probably be my favorite in Eurovision. Emmanuel, did you watch my video? Then I think you know my answer to that. I'm not going to go into details, but it hit. 2020 was a very difficult year for me. I think for all of us, but it certainly hit my family really hard. People that I love and care about, and I didn't do much last year, or not as much as I would like to, because I had to take care of people. Um, that almost died at a young age, and it was devastating. And the song hit home when I was like, "Oh my god!" It's just, I couldn't. But it's so beautiful, and I'm not in the mood for sad songs at Eurovision. I'm not this year. I want to have a party. I need upbeat music, just happy music. That's all I listen to. But this song may be the exception. It touches me. It is so beautiful, and I know in Portugal, even though the producers I think wanted to win because they gave it the pimp slot, the last song of the night in semifinal two. I don't see the juries going for an English song, so the televoters would have to make up the difference, and it's gonna be tough. But I would be over the moon if this were to win. So, Portugal, please send Neve and Dancing in the Stars. You would be high up in my ranking. Okay, next question. Ari Blue Noir Shakban is saying, what are your thoughts about the TV hosts Chantal, Etzilia, Jan, and Nikki tutorials presenting and hosting the show? I'm always usually I think what they're gonna be fine. I think what I've seen so far, we've seen them doing the show last year, like the canceled version of the contest, and I think they were effective in not taking the stealing the show like the limelight. They're not trying to be funny and entertaining. They kind of just did their job, and that is cool. Not everyone has to be a Petra Meta and Manzamala where they're just almost like their own little thing. And I love that. I personally always want 1 to 2 hosts. And I like the idea of kind of getting to know them throughout the show and building a bond, a connection with them. When you have 4 people hosting it, there's just no way. No way. So I'm just like, yeah, let's not even bother. So I think they did a formidable job in keeping us focused and on message, and I hope they can do that next time around as well. This time around, I should say. Um, do you have high hopes for the UK entry? Oliver Tribe is saying yes, and I always have high hopes for the UK because it's the fucking UK. Oops. I shouldn't be cursing too much, but it's UK. You should have high expectations. They have the best or one of the best music markets in the world, and I don't accept low expectations when it comes to UK. I know that James Newman's song wasn't very popular last year. I liked it very much. It felt British to me. It has a good melody. It was too short. I will always say, too short. Add more. It just wasn't enough. But I liked it, and that's the kind of music I like. I know he's going to go with something more upbeat and fun, so that a lot of people probably like that as well. But I am positive. I'm kind of optimistic. It looks like they had a good amount of time to work on this, so maybe they'll do well at Eurovision so badly you don't even understand. Okay, so there's a couple more questions. Alex Boyd is saying, it seems that Ilias Little Big Singer made a story on Little Big saying that something I hope you're doing nothing on March 12th. What? She said that? Oh, I loved Little Big last year of Russia. It was so fun and clever and unique. I want them back. Granted, again, recreating the magic, not an easy thing, but I would be stoked. I haven't heard that yet, so I'm not trying to read too much into it. Look at me, you getting me all excited. But yeah, I would be thrilled because I want them all back anyway, and I loved Little Big. So yeah. Snoo Hi. Do you think we would have had the same result in Norway with the old voting system? I feel online voting only really favors artists with massive young fan bases like Tix. Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, didn't Kaino have a big fan base as well? Online fan base? I don't know. You make a good point. I do what they like in Sweden, where they have age brackets, like that the online young vote does not overrule every other age bracket because older people technically often vote more frequently over phone. So they kind of even that out a little. And I think they should do that in Norway. So my recommendation is no. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if it would have made a difference. Maybe. But we'll never know. That's one of those questions like I don't have an answer to it. About Armenia, they have withdrawn from Junior Eurovision because of a war with Azerbaijan, but they released later the song that was supposed to represent them. Have you heard Malena? Why? I have not. I'm not big into Junior Eurovision. I do it. I listen to the songs once and then I do my ranking, but I'm not like crazy into Junior, so I do not anything beyond the bare minimum, if you will. I'm more of the adult version kind of guy. So yeah, no, I did not listen to it. How do we know when the live stream is happening? I almost missed this one. I thought it would be right after yesterday's shows. That was my bad, Yukas, because I had something wanted to go, but the live shows are up until 1 a.m. And I couldn't, it was too late. So I think for the next couple of weeks, I will do them on Sundays, only because the shows are so late, the national finals, it doesn't make any sense. I was going to do it a little earlier at 3 p.m., but it was 6 a.m. my time, so it just didn't work out that way. I need some beauty sleep. Not like it's helping, but you know what I mean. I have a feeling that an old country in the contest is gonna win after a long time. I don't know which one yet. Are you talking about like Italy or the UK or France? Something who else is an old country? Belgium. Belgium is an old one. I haven't won in a long time. Those were the ones that come to mind. Switzerland. Switzerland is another one, right? Huh. Good question. Yeah, I mean, I would love for one of those countries to win, although I say it all the time. Like, for fair and objective reasons, I want the best song to win. For selfish reasons, I want countries to win I desperately want to visit and I haven't been to. So go Iceland and go Malta and go Croatia in all of these countries. So that's for me. I'm like, but I know the best song should win. And of course, a country that is affordable. So if really Norway made the wrong choice and didn't send a alleged winning song, at least I don't have to worry about going to Norway for Eurovision because I cannot afford Norway. Nobody can afford Norway. I feel so bad about that. I'm like, of course I want the best song to win, but I'm always like, oh no, not Scandinavia, not Scandinavia. It's so expensive. It's so expensive. What do you think about the Czech entry? Do you think it's underrated or where should it be? I did a reaction video to it. It's solid. I'm still debating whether or not I like Kimama better or this one. It's a little bit too repetitive for my taste. But I like it. It's okay. I don't think I think in terms of ratings and popularity, it's kind of where I expect it to be and should be. I don't see it in my top 10 or anywhere there. But I don't dislike it either. It's okay. It's an okay song to me. It's just, and sometimes it rubs me the wrong way, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I kind of enjoyed it. But the magic here is Benny Cristo is a fantastic live performer, and that is really, really what it comes down to, often at Eurovision. So I am very much interested in seeing the live performance because that can make or break certain things. Think about Fuego. It was popular enough, but it wasn't like setting the charts on fire or the betting odds. And then the first rehearsal started, and boom, something happened. And there's a reason for that. So, something similar could happen here. And one more. Have you heard about the potential Belarusian entries? And also, thank you for answering my questions. You are my favorite Eurovision channel. Thank you. Thank you. I need a little bit of compliments. No, I have not. I will have to wait for like the final lineup or whatsoever. I can't. I don't have the time. I'm a very busy person. No, I just didn't have the time to do all of that because it's not just for me listening to songs. I have to record, then I have to edit, then I have to upload it, and then I have to distribute it. It's a lot of work. So I am still behind. The Bulgaria reaction videos recorded. Norway's. I need to get those up. So, and that is a good segment to my end for today. Sorry about the little messy setup today because it was more a little bit of a last minute kind of thing. I'll try to do it, schedule it a little bit more ahead of time, which I usually do. Just today, I didn't have the time. Thank you for watching, though, and I will see you all next week. Hopefully, we have another guest on here. I'll talk to you all later, and have a good day. Bye.